And welcome to our third and final chapter. Up to this point, we have showed you how to create manual playlists in various ways, how to use our widget build page, and also how to post one of these widgets to a blog like the one you're viewing right now. In this chapter, I'm going to be covering the widget's user interface and what all these buttons and tabs do. So as you can see where my mouse is, I am mousing over the player control buttons. Pretty basic, pretty standard. You have your previous track button, your play pause button, and the next track button. Below that there is a timeline where you can advance in the audio if you desire, and also a volume control. Click down on it and adjust the bar. Mouse away. Pretty easy. Here are our track option buttons. Top row we have a vote up if you like it, vote down if you don't like it, and a download button. The download button is currently not active, and that's because a YouTube video is loaded in the player. On our bottom row we have a purchase this track button. We have a share this track or playlist button and a add button. Then below that we have our what we call primary tabs for the different content sections. Right now the playlist section is turned on, which it always is by default. And notice this tab farthest to the right will always be in focus when the page loads. We can click on the daily downloads. Show you that really quickly. You have some album art and some short little blurbs of text describing the track and the artist. Download button and a play button that corresponds with each track. We have our music news headlines, and we also have our what's new on the net headlines, where we basically give you links to blogs around the web with some MP3, mixtape, and video releases. And then we have our vintage videos. Give it a second to load. Each has a short little description and the artist name. Now when you click on one, it will actually pop up in a bigger view.
All the words to Stand By Me, Be Popular, I knew them all from 1515.
And if you want to get out of this mode, just simply click right here in the shaded in area outside of video, and you're back to the widget. And lastly, we have our Find Music tab, and I'll be covering this later. So let's jump back here to the Playlist tab. And depending on what you did the widget build page, in step 1, it will determine how many of the subtabs you have shown in your widget. We chose to leave the Fly-Fi Playlist tab enabled, so we have 3 tabs to choose from. We have the Partner Custom Playlist tab, the Fly-Fi Playlist, and My Playlist, which is a requirement. Each one of these subtabs has a drop-down menu box where you can choose a playlist to load in the player. Click on the Fly-Fi one. We have our video playlist by year and our prefab stuff. Also the option to log into your account. When you click on the My Playlist tab, you will always see the entry fields to log into your account, unless you've created a new playlist when working in the widget. So let's jump back to the Demo Playlist tab. We'll play a track by Sublime. If you want a larger view of this video, click the expand link below it. You will still have access to the progress bar, volume, player controls, and track option buttons. To get out of the expand view, click outside the video. If you'd like to vote on this track, either click the vote up button or vote down button. I'd like to point out that the votes really don't have any effect or value unless you have an account created beforehand. That way we can actually keep giving you quality recommendations, so we highly encourage your users to create accounts with us. The download button is actually currently disabled because we are playing a YouTube video. Now if you'd like to purchase this track, click the shopping cart button. This will launch a new window. It will bring you back to Fly-Fi with a dialog for the biggest vendors out there. So it's available at Amazon, Napster, and iTunes. If you click one of these buttons, it will bring you directly to that item in their store. which is rather nice. Now, if you'd like to share this, you can launch this little dialog box, and you can share the individual track, or you can share the playlist that it came from. You can paste these links to your email, your Facebook or Twitter or MySpace updates, blogs, personal websites, you name it. Now, if you decide you want to make a new playlist, click the plus sign button, and we will create one now. We will call it sample. Click create. You get alerted that the track was added to the new playlist. Click OK. Click the tab to the furthest to the left, and there you have it. There is your new playlist. And if you want to remove the track or add more, feel free to. So that's really about it for the playlist stuff and the buttons. So how about we show you how to make a smart playlist? And it's a rather easy process. We will click on the Find Music primary tab button right here. You will see some entry fields. We will ignore the top one. That's actually for looking up individual tracks by certain artists. We'll get to that in a second. So come down here, we're going to enter some artist names to make our new smart playlist. But we make one based on Bob Dylan, Neil Young, and The Doors. We can give this list a name. We'll skip that step. Click OK, give it a second, and you will see an instant list of music recommendations populate in the widget. Here you can remove specific tracks by clicking on the tiny delete button. And as you remove tracks over time, the recommendations keep updating themselves. So that's that. We'll show you now how to look for a specific track. Go back to the Find Music section. I'm going to look up a song by the artist Beck called Cell Phones Dead. Click OK. We have some results back. And I know this is the right video. Okay, so I'm going to add this to one of my existing playlists called Sample. Click OK. Okay, we got our confirmation, it's been added. And it's that easy to build smart and manual playlists in the flyfi.com super widget. Now there's some additional things I may have missed, which I'll show you right now. So if you'd like to actually move to a different spot in the audio, you can what we call scrub with the progress bar. So while the audio is playing, click somewhere on this black progress bar, give it a second, and it will seek that spot. Also our volume control, click down the icon once, move this slider bar up and down to adjust it to your desire. And if you actually find a great artist that you really love using our widget, if you want to hear more music by them, you can click on the URL, which is the artist name and track name combined, and it brings you to an artist page on flyfi.com where you can hear more music. So we'll close that window. And before we conclude this chapter, I'll show you how to download a track. Click back on the playlist. We'll take something out of our top weekly downloads playlist in the Flyfi tab. Click on a song. Click the download button. And you can choose to save this song somewhere in your hard drive, or you can open it with a media player. And that's about it for our demo of the user interface for the flyfi.com partner super widget. I hope you enjoyed these video tutorials. Hope you learned a lot. We encourage you to make as many widgets as you like. Once again, I'm Rob Jacobs. If you'd like to reach me or the rest of the staff with any questions or feedback, you can send an email to support@flyfi.com. So thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.